Rich Rodriguez did not hold back praise today for the young group of wide receivers at West Virginia, leading me to come to one conclusion. This is one hell of a deep room.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. Welcome back into Locked On West Virginia, baby, where we're talking about the Mountaineers scrimmage today. Welcome in, guys. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen and for being part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. Going to be brought to you by FanDuel, guys. And right now, FanDuel's doing it pretty big. If you didn't know, go ahead. If you're going to watch football this season, it's right around the corner. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your future bets now. Rich Rodriguez did not hold back today talking about the groups of receivers, and especially the young guys, man. A little bit of praise coming from Rich Rod today, which is not always the case. He's not always doing that. So we were lucky to hear that from him today for sure. Glad to have something kind of new to talk about. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the three guys that he mentioned and just kind of go back over who they are, what they're all about, check out some tape on them, that kind of stuff. As you know, I haven't talked much about Christian Hamilton at all, mostly because there's just not any tape out there on him at North Carolina. There's a couple plays that you can watch that he made. I think he had 7 career catches there. In his first year, he was a 4-star receiver coming out of high school, so he's got a lot of talent. He made a couple big play today. Jordan McCants made a big play today, and that was cool to see. They actually put the video of that up. We're going to watch that. And then Cyrus Traugh, who you guys know I love. I think he's got a big future. So we're going to look at all three of these guys, man. Appreciate y'all being in here. Let's roll. I also have the profiles for these guys that are little breakdowns on them. That way we can kind of just roll with the flow. Let's start out with Christian Hamilton, since he'll probably be the shortest one. So Christian Hamilton transfers to West Virginia from North Carolina. So a Power 5 school to a Power 5 school, Power 4, whatever you want to call it. Got a lot of talent. They've got him close to 21 miles an hour on the gun at practice a couple of times. Not at West Virginia, at the place before he came here. And he's known as a deep ball kind of guy, even though his 40 time at West Virginia wasn't the best time. What was it? I was expecting it to be faster, to be honest, but it wasn't slow by any means, in my opinion. 4.56. So that's not slowed at all. It's not, being that he's been so good at deep balls in his career, I was expecting it to be a little bit further down there, just a bit, maybe to closer to 4.4, but 4.5 is definitely fast enough to do whatever you need to do. So let's take a look at some plays that he's made in his career at, I think this is high school level. I think. So this is his commitment to North Carolina video. Yeah. And you start to see some of the things that he did there. Let's see if there's any music.
Obstacles that I face. Coach Wilson and Hickory Ridge staff, thank y'all for believing in me ever since my freshman year and helping me build myself to be a better person. To my family, coaches, friends, and siblings, thank y'all for being the biggest supporters and for pushing me to be a better me, whether it was on or off the field. To my parents, my early morning workouts show me that y'all are willing to sacrifice everything to see me succeed.
Not a whole lot of
motivation.
So
never take anything y'all give.
Not a whole lot of tape really happening here. There we got some.
That being said, I'll be
There's this Mac Brown. Oh gosh. We have anything normal? Here's something. All right, let's just get a feel for what he looks like on tape. Because honestly, I haven't studied a lot of him. I've only looked at the 7 catches he had at North Carolina. I have not seen anything else. So I have an idea for what to expect. I know he's got some shiftiness to him. I know he can run a little bit. So I think that's probably what we'll see. Not the biggest guy, y'all. If you look at his profile, which I have here, he is 5'11", 181 pounds. He'll be a redshirt sophomore. He's a guy that I think, right there, that's what he does. And also you can see there he's definitely got some shiftiness to his game. If you throw him the ball and bubble screens, that kind of stuff, he can make people miss. He can get down the field. Today during the scrimmage, they say he made a big play. So I thought we should talk about him and, because he's going to play. He's going to play. I don't know how much, don't know how little, but I do expect him to, because how fast we go, how many plays we run. I mean, I do expect him to eventually get some snaps. And he's one of those guys, he's got such a high ceiling that, he could come on strong. Excuse me. He could come on strong, right? At any point in time and kind of just make himself undeniable. Here he is running some drills. Well, it's not going to show it. Anyway, so his profile reads 5'11", 181, a redshirt sophomore. He's out of Harrisburg, PA, so probably a big reason he came to West Virginia. At UNC, 7 catches, 159 yards, and a touchdown. He did average 14.5 yards per catch, and that was as a redshirt freshman. 4-star recruit. He's got 3 years remaining. Definitely brings some speed and agility to the slot spot. So I think he's definitely great for this system. He's definitely the kind of player that Rich Rod has used in the past in that spot. So that would be Christian Hamilton. Absolutely somebody to watch for going forward. Wish we had a little more tape on him, but we don't. All right, let's get to Jordan McCants now, a guy that I really like a lot. I think he's another one, man. Like, they did such a good job getting the kind of receivers that Rich Rod likes. Like, I can honestly see them all playing, and I never said that during the Neil Brown era. It just never came out of my mouth. It was always like, man, we got like 1 or 2 good guys, I think. Like last year I was thinking Jaden Bray might break out. Hoping Rodney Gallagher did, like that kind of stuff. And now it's like Jaden Bray's like, he's got a bunch of guys up here that I think are as talented as him. So let me find excuse me, guys. Let me find the play from earlier. Let's see, West Virginia football. We'll watch that first. All right. Because that was a pretty cool play. Holy cow. Walk-on tryouts, August 19th. West Virginia just posted a walk-on tryouts ad, guys. No kidding. Hold on. We're going to look at it. This is crazy. Right here, walk-on tryouts, Tuesday, August 19th. Important. All interested players must fill out forms and contact Garrett Hirsch at mill.wvu.edu prior to participating. That's crazy, man. So they're saying, hey, look, if you can play, come on, let's try. Here's a little Max Brown to Jordan McCants action today. And what a catch by Jordan McCants down the field here. Nicely done. Who did he burn right there? Who did he burn? That's what we always like to know. Who was guarding him? God, he was way out in front of him, wasn't he? It wasn't even close. Who is that right there? See if we can see on the comeback through. Is that a 3? 37. Oh, I bet I know who that is. That's oh man, what's his name? Uh, well, let's look it up. Looks like it is. Let me go to jersey number. Go. All right, so that is Jaden Bell getting absolutely torched on that play by Jordan McCants. Jaden Bell has been torched, abused, even, if you will. Nice play by Jordan McCants down the field during today's scrimmage. And might I note, Max Brown and that, I mean, I'm talking about he's got the best arm talent on the team. Love that release, too. You know, got a little, I mean, it's that 3/4 arm action. Just love the follow through on that thing. Look at that follow through coming down, right hand into the left pocket, and literally a perfect spiral right into the arm of Jordan McCants. I mean, you can't do no better. You can't do no better. All right, so let's go over to Mr. Well, and by the way, Max Brown, can we just say Max Brown, dude? That dude is, if we ever turn to a passing offense, he might be the guy. Honest to God, not even kidding. All right, so Jordan McCants, obviously he comes over from Jack State as somebody that Rich Rod trusted. He is a shifty, quick player at the line, very similar to Christian Hamilton, actually. They're almost identically talented players, like in my opinion. McCants is the same size. Excuse me, y'all. I don't know where all these Johns are coming from. 5'11", 178. He's a redshirt junior out of Birmingham, Alabama, obviously transferring in from Jack State. He only had 15 catches for 150 yards last year, but, man, he showed some improvement towards the end of the year, and there are people that think he's ready to actually come in and play. And if you look at some of his, like, his tape and stuff, like, he is very quick. Here's him at practice. So as you can see, he's got some agility to his game. So that's a nice – I don't know when this was taken. It says that's in 2021, so that's freaking 4 years ago. This is in 2020, so these are irrelevant. There used to be plays from him on here. I wonder what happened to him. Gosh, man. I drank some coffee right before I came on. Maybe it's making me yawn. I have no clue. Okay, I know this is some tape of him whenever he was at JUCO. So this is like 2 years. This is like right before Jack State, but 10. You get an idea for what he can do.
Back to pass. He's going deep. End zone. Jordan McCants. He's there. He's up.
Nice
Touchdown.
Play. And you get an idea for what he does if you look down here, right?
1st and 10. Floyd back to pass. He's going deep. End zone. Jordan McCants. He's there.
Just a nice reaction to the ball. Nice tracking it in the air. Here's another one.
Floyd's going to roll up that side. Here comes the back.
We pause that because that music's definitely copywritten. Nice play by Jordan McCants on that play too. But yeah, I mean, you know, he's another guy though. I really like McCants talent-wise. They had the Jack State stuff on here. And it's gone. I wonder if Rich Rod I've had this happen on a couple players where whenever they first signed to West Virginia, their Jack State stuff was easier to find. And I'm telling you, I can't find it anywhere now on a couple of these guys. Golly, man, I don't know where these Johns are coming from. How annoying. But anyway, so so McCants is a guy that I'm definitely thinking can make an impact this year in the slot. You know, maybe I'd like to see him do better than 15 catches, but I think he's capable of at least that if they give him the chances. As you saw that play, he's got some speed. I just think that these are players that would have played in the Neil Brown era for sure. Like all these guys. Think about Hamilton. That's a 4-star guy, right? Same as Rodney Gallagher. So he's definitely talented. Let's go to break. We'll come back and we'll watch the rest of these guys. Cyrus Traugh saving the best for last. I'm a big Traugh guy. I think he's on the borderline of starting, in my opinion. I don't have any proof for that, but I love this kid as a route runner. I think he's up there with the very best on the team. We'll be right back. This is Locked On West Virginia. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by Wayfair, y'all. And we talk about Wayfair because summer's winding down, unfortunately, for all of us. And there's something nice about getting back to the routine you love, though. Wayfair makes it easy to see yourself up for the season ahead. From bedding and linens to storage solutions for every room, Wayfair is your one-stop shop to refresh your home. Get organized, get refreshed, and get back to your routine for way less at Wayfair. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair. Every style, every home. It's segment 2. Let's crack open this dew, man. I need it for sure. Apparently, I'm like so tired. All right. Let's get over to Cyrus Traugh now because I'm a big fan of his. I love the fact that he went viral like a few years ago. I don't know if you guys know this. It's not on here, but there is there's a social media guy named Destroying. He's very popular. He does a lot of. He goes to college campuses, high schools, different things like that. And basically guys line up at wide receiver, a guy lines up at corner, and they just try to stop each other. They do other stuff too. I think he might be a former college kicker or something like that, but he's like a great athlete, kind of like McAfee in a way. And so they all line up. Well, Cyrus Traugh went to one of these and dominated the whole event as like a 17-year-old out of Martinsburg, West Virginia. And actually, if you ever it's got like hundreds of thousands of views. If you ever get a chance to go see it, it's crazy, man. And now here he is. And the Destroying's had a bunch of guys on that show go on to be. Actually, this is it right here. Hey, Bob.
I love it. Get that man to bed, D. Get that man to bed, D. Oh, my God. Dang. Before the rap, I was like, his Thursday too easy. That nigga plays.
So basically, he lines up against all these dudes and just destroys them, which is pretty cool. I think that's his buddy from Martinsburg. There he is. Look at him, the baby version with the red hair, man. And you want to see what he's turned into. I think this is the coolest part, guys. Cyrus has turned into not just a very good, but he's got potential. He's not there yet, but he's got potential to be an elite route runner. And I love this kid's route running ability. I think it's by far his best attribute. He doesn't have elite strength. He doesn't have elite size. He doesn't have elite speed. He's just good at all that other stuff, but his route tree, that's what separates him, in my opinion. He doesn't have good size. He's 6 feet, right? 188 pounds. He's only a sophomore. And I'm sorry, he's from Parkersburg, not Martinsburg. That's my fault. Last year at Youngstown State, he had 40 balls for 409 yards and 5 touchdowns, averaged 11.5 yards per reception. So, I mean, that's pretty dang good for a freshman. Was he a freshman last year? I'll have to go look again. Hold on. Yeah, he's a redshirt sophomore. So he did this as a redshirt freshman last year. Almost 40 balls for 5 touchdowns. That's an up-and-coming player. I don't care what level you're at. So I like Traugh a lot. I'm rooting for him hard. I would love to see this West Virginia kid get into our lineup this year and make plays. If not, I think he will next year. I think he'll be ready. But I'm predicting him to be good before he gets out of Morgantown. I love his route running tree. You'll see it here. And he's faster than you think. Like, he's definitely ain't slow by any means. And this is FCS. This is, so it's probably a step slower, right? It's not, you hear him say it all the time. Like, like you hear when they ask these guys, what's the difference? Quality of athletes just a little bit better, right? And he runs tough. But I mean, if that's where he separates himself. He can really cut. Boom. He broke that dude's ankles totally off. He's abused. He needs to go to therapy now. Oh, late and over the middle. There he is. See, and that's the kind of thing you can do with him here at West Virginia, right? Just let him catch a ball like that on a screen and just let him go with it, man. I hope Traugh gets in the game and scores a few touchdowns this year. I'm going to be rooting for him so hard. I'll buy a Traugh jersey. Like, I'm a big Cyrus Traugh guy because he's a West Virginia guy. Like, honestly, I think he could be a Hudson Clement, Like, I think he can replace that. Look at that route. Like, it's just so easy to tell, right? Look at this route, this double move he puts on this dude here. That's a nasty one there. He does more than just that. There he is, just over the top, beating somebody. And this is all as a redshirt freshman, So I'm a big Traugh guy. And oh my God. Every time I watch him, I'm telling you, sometimes I get in the moment, but like, this is an insanely quick move off the line here. That blows my mind away, how quick he came off the line right there, up top here. That's why I say, I don't know how he's not in the rotation. There he is against Pitt. Making plays against Pitt. So you want an idea for what his speed is? How fast does he run? So he's definitely got enough speed to turn the corner. We gained 10 yards there or so. There's another nice ball. Look at the adjustment on the back shoulder. Pretty nice play there up top here. And he does a good job. And I love how he kept that route pointed the direction it was going. That was nice. And nice adjustment to the ball there too. So up top here, as you see, he runs just an inside hitch and really good ball security, catching that thing and bringing it in. I mean, a lot of guys drop that ball when you hear the footsteps coming. This quarterback is accurate, man. You guys see this quarterback they've got? He's made a couple throws. Where's the one down here a second ago? Yeah, this one here from this angle. I love his little arm angle. He doesn't have a big arm at all. It's actually pretty weak. But accuracy-wise, man, he puts his things on the money a lot. That one right there, brother. Hey, he put that one in there, didn't he? And it's a quick release. He's about ready to let this thing go right as he cuts. I mean, look at that. That's a quick release. I mean, goodness gracious. How quick did he get rid of that? He spun that thing. So Cyrus Traugh, man, I'm a big fan, obviously. And, really think he can make an impact for us this year. He just does everything good, and his routes are very good. So there's one more video. We're going to watch it too because there's a couple other plays on it. I think this is versus San Jose State. You can get to see some more routes he runs. That's a nice out pattern there. Watch him break down the defender. He does everything right. And this is a redshirt freshman. You have to push that because outside of this, he'd had high school coaches teaching him, right? So at this point, he's been in college for a year, and he redshirted the year before this as a true freshman. So this is his first year actually even playing college ball. He's only had 1 year to get taught by a college receivers coach, and his route tree is already this refined. So that's what gives me such hope for him, because I think, Man Singleton obviously is our best route runner probably, but man, this kid here has a chance to be right there. And look at the feel for the game he has right here. This is a great example. So see how he turns this thing in, and a lot of guys will just stay right there, right? That means that's probably that's what the play calls for. If you watch, it's just a quick turn and hitch, right? Quarterback's a little late getting rid of the ball. So what does he do? Well, he knows where the defender leverage is, right? He knows where his blocker is. So he knows the defender's going to be fighting through that. So he drifts away from the defender. Watch, and it's all feel. Like he's not even seeing him that I know of. Watch him just feel it and just drift away to make sure he gets this ball. Just a couple steps to the right. It seems like nothing, but to me it is. He's such a technician. That play there too, like just working his way through traffic. It's not an easy route for a redshirt freshman to run, and the precise cuts. This guy's going to put his hands on and try to reroute you. So he uses that momentum from the push to go ahead and make the cut. He just says, okay, you're pushing me that way anyways, I might as well cut it. Now he's got to come by the backer and the referee and the safety and the receiver coming up with the corner guarding him. He's got to navigate all that. Pretty crazy stuff, man. And then he pops open and gets crushed at the end. I don't know what this quarterback's name is, but I want to call him DeVita. I feel like he's a DeVita. Look at DeVita, man. This dude's slinging it back here for old Cyrus Traugh. Old Cyrus Traugh, there's another great example of his route tree. It's a simple route. Just a quick little hitch in, right? But, he just does a good job of drifting away from the defender so that he just gets hit, maybe just half a second less. It gives the quarterback just an extra bit of time. That's good stuff, man. Working your way back to the ball and all that stuff. This says this is a 4th down conversion. Boy, they ran him right at the sticks a lot, didn't they? There's another great route. I think we're already started back over. Is this it? That's it. Okay. So, so Cyrus made some big plays today, they said. So, happy about that, because I think he's a guy that can absolutely help West Virginia. How many Mountain Dews do I drink a day? It's hard to say, Josh, because to be honest, I open probably 3 or 4 a day, and I probably drink one. To be honest, I'll tell you, because once they get warm, I just throw them away. I know it's wasteful. It's the truth, though. I don't drink warm Mountain Dew. It's just not. I just can't, and I don't like it because it gets flat real quick as well. I love it though when you first open it up. That's when I love it. Let's go to break really quick, guys. We'll go come back. We'll put a bow on this one and talk about some other things that they said in the press conferences today. We'll be right back. This is Locked On West Virginia. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by FanDuel, guys. When we talk about FanDuel, we talk about the summer coming to an end as well. August 26th, officially going to be FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL preseason predictions. So whether you're calling for your MVP, eyeing a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before week 1 even kicks off, this is your moment. Visit FanDuel's app today and start planning your future bets now, because future today is one day and one day only after all. And you better do it at FanDuel, where you can play your game. Hey, Leo, nice to see you, brother. All right, we're here in segment 3, guys. Appreciate y'all for joining in. Talk a little bit of scrimmage today from the West Virginia Mountaineers. We didn't get a lot out of the coaches, but what we do know is this was probably one of the last major things they're going to do before the team is quote unquote decided on from a depth chart standpoint. And I think, as we look across the roster here, I think, it's probably becoming clear, especially hopefully to God, this guy's eligible. And we would really love him to happen now, because he's not going to be in game shape for 2 or 3 games probably otherwise, but that's fine. We just need him eligible ASAP, right? But anyway, obviously they're making decisions at all these different levels, as far as who's going to start and where and when and how and all this. So it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see who walks out there first, but even more so, I can't wait to see who stays out there longest, who plays the most, who gets the most snaps in, because your starter and who plays the most are 2 different things, right? I'd rather be the guy that plays the most. I don't care if I start. If I play more than that guy, then that's fine, right? Because inevitably, in the beginning of all this, we're going to have guys that start that don't keep those jobs. And we're going to have guys that don't start that end up getting jobs and keeping them, right? Like, I think a good example of that would be, let's get down here to the O-line for a second. So, obviously, Tykees Crawford, most of us think anyway, is number 1, and Xavier Bosley is number 2. We think. Don't know that for sure, but let's just say for argument's sake, that's the case. If Tykees Crawford has the number 1 spot sewn up on the right side and Xavier is number 2, that doesn't mean it's going to stay that way, right? I would not be shocked, especially for Xavier Bosley, for a guy like him to push anybody on the offensive line for their spot and possibly take it over. It actually still kind of baffles me that Bosley is – Tykees Crawford must be pretty good, because and so must Nick Cray. If those are the 2 – if those end up being the 2 guys. Maybe Bosley's one of the guys, and I hope he is. As you guys know, I'm a big fan of his for multiple reasons, but because he was a freshman All-American in the system. So if there are guys that are beating him out, then they got to be decent players, So we'll continue to monitor it, man. I think we're going to see some position groups won. We're going to see some position groups or jobs lost as well. And then I think we're going to have some where the starters aren't going to matter. Maybe linebackers a room like that where you might see Chase Wilson and Reed Carrico run out there first, but maybe Ben Bogle gets most of the snaps, right? Or maybe Cam Torber shows up as a freshman like I think he can and gets a bunch of snaps by the 7th or 8th game. Or, maybe Hammond Russell starts, but before we know it, Elijah Simmons is proven to be the best D lineman on the team. Like, there are plenty of opportunities for guys to, quote unquote, make their hay and make their way. And they're not giving us the answers. We're not going to know until they go out and play it. And Rich Rodriguez said today, even on the quarterbacks, him and Rhett are the only 2 that are going to know about it. That's interesting. At least he may be coach speaking us on that. I'm sure he'll tell a couple others, on the staff. But I've seen somebody asking about the defense. Overall, Leo, I would say, I've said this multiple times, Rich Rod's not going to admit that the defense is ahead of the offense, but I would be surprised if it wasn't. I would. I just think if you think about it logically, you've got Derek Carter, you've got Fred Perry, on the back end. That helps a lot, I think. Um, and then you've got a bunch of seniors. Michael Coach Jr., you've got Jordan Scruggs, are both seniors, right? Ty Crutcher is a senior. Like you look around, Braden Siders is a senior. Marshawn Oxley's a junior. Older players. I think that's something a lot of people aren't really grasping onto here. A lot of our starters are going to be seniors. Jamoy Robinson's a senior. Eddie Kelly's a senior, right? If you look at like Devin Grant's a senior, right? Eddie V's a senior. Like if we start to count on defense, Hammond Russell's a senior. Like these are all starters, in my opinion. I'm just guessing, but Ben Bogle's a junior, but Chase Wilson's a senior. Reed Carrico's a senior. Those, so it's a senior laden defense by a large margin, actually. I don't even think I haven't even looked at this like yet. Fred Perry's a senior. Will Davis is a senior. Holy cow, man. I didn't realize this. Let's go back and look at this again. This would be worth doing a whole show on, maybe. Senior laden, man. So you got to say at Bandit, probably Braden Siders walks out first. That's a starter at senior. Then you got 3 senior corners. Doesn't matter which one of these 3. It's going to be one of the 2 of these 3 are going to start. Golden Nelson, Coach Jr., or Scruggs. I think it's going to be Coach and Scruggs, but Golden Nelson could also be in there as a starter. I have no clue. But those 3 seniors at corner, plus the 4th with Ty Crutcher, who I continuously forget about being a senior. I mean, it's not like he didn't come here to just sit out a year. He's coming to play. Jason Chambers is a senior. So, I mean, that's 5 seniors at corner. Then you look on the D line. You've got Jamoy Robinson, Eddie Kelly, who are both starters, right? Devin Grant, who's probably going to play a lot or start, especially if Jamoy's out. But there's 3 seniors, right? Then you've got Eddie V, who's a senior. There's 4. You've got Hammond Russell. There's 5. So that's 5 seniors on the D line overall that I can see. Linebacker, you've got John Lewis 1, Chase Wilson 2, Ben Bogle's a junior, Reed Carrico 3, Caden Beiser 4. Then you got 4 senior linebackers. Then at safety, nickel, you've got 1, 2 if you count Fred Perry. So Will Davis and Fred Perry are both seniors. One's a redshirt senior, so a 6-year senior. So you got 2 seniors at the nickel spot. Then if you look at just regular safety, which did I pass it up already? We're just regulars. Maybe I counted some of those earlier guys at corner. No, that's safety. Okay, maybe they're on down past the O-line, apparently. Yeah, they are. My bad. It's kind of weird, but whatever. Okay, so then at safety, you've got Jordan Walker, who's a senior. You've got Justin Harrington, who's a senior. Derek Carter Jr., who's a senior. Kikar Turner, who's a senior. Like, you're replacing this whole team again next year. Darren Lewis is a senior. 1, 2, 3. How many did I just count? Honest to God. How many did I just count? Seniors. This is obviously a strategy. That's why I tell people when I say, and this isn't even something I considered yet, we need to go through and count how many seniors we have on this starting defense. Or just on the defense in total. I was already under the impression the defense was going to be better. Number 1, because Zach Alley. Number 2, because his scheme is so good, proven to be so good. Number 3, because the quality of the players, I like them personally. I feel like we have at least 3 really good pass rushers and 5 that can really do it. We have 2 of the highest graded corners in all the Big 12 Pro Football Focus, and then another one in Golden Nelson, who a lot of people think is really good. And then you look at the safeties or the nickel safety room, Will Davis and Fred Perry. Will Davis had 1,200 tackles, 12 interceptions, 3 interceptions returned for touchdown in 2 years. Not 1,200 tackles, sorry. 12 was it 1,200? No. What was it? I'm sorry, I can't remember the number of tackles, but maybe it was like 240 tackles. I can't remember, but anyways, he had 12 picks and 3 for touchdowns. And that guy's in your nickel room. And he just put out a post today that said, "Pressure makes diamonds, baby. Pressure make diamonds, baby. Let's go." Then you got Fred Perry, who may be the best player on your entire defense, the nickel. So I'm just saying, every time I look at this roster, I get excited. Then you got the D line, who's senior laden with Hammond, Russell, Eddie V, and those guys. Eddie Kelly, and then if God forbid, don't let me even talk about the man amongst men coming back and playing on that D line. You know what I mean? Don't let Jamori be. Don't tell me that. Please don't tell me that. Don't tell me Jamori Robinson gets eligible. Because if that happens, that means Justin Harrington's eligible. And then you've got me pretzeled, because I'm really gonna start to fall in love with this defense. Now, depth wise, that's definitely something I can have a concern with, because I don't know how good we are outside of the 3 corners. They give me a little bit of worry outside of these 3. I like Nelson a lot. I like Coates and I like Scruggs. I don't know how good Crutcher and then the other guy who's a senior that transferred from App State. What's his name again? Sorry, it's hard to remember every single name, guys. These guys just got here. But anyway, so it's hard for me to remember, not remember, but to know how good some of these guys are. We know Eddie Kelly played a bunch at Missouri. Was he elite there? Not necessarily elite. We know Jamori Robinson's elite. We know, but we know Eddie Kelly's a really good run stopper, though. There's just so many good players on this defense. If this defense doesn't turn out to be pretty good, I'll be totally shocked. Now the only way it won't be is if they're having to think and therefore can't act, and it's going to look worse than it actually is, which is why I'm not going to panic if they're bad the first 3 weeks, because I do think that's going to take some adjusting. But by Pitt, we should start to see them clicking some. And thankfully, the first 2 games are, I don't want to say easy, but you should win. So you definitely have more talent. All right, guys, let's jump off here. I'm actually going to do a show on the senior thing. I know we just talked about it a lot, but I think that'll be something to talk about maybe here in a couple hours, once I can do a little more research and try to put starters at positions. And we didn't even do the offense, so we'll do the offense as well and see just how many seniors are starting on this team, projected starting, and if not even at least juniors, right? So upperclassmen, let's say. I think it's going to be a large number, and I think it was definitely intentional. So I'm starting to get a show idea working here. We'll be back in a little bit with that. Until then, guys, thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen, and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. Check out Locked On Portal next when you get time, guys. They're excellent. Brian Smith does an amazing job over there. One of the best in the entire Locked On deal. So make sure you check him out, guys, and I'll see you later. I'm out of here. Good night.